Hi, good day. My name is Ernst Buerta and I'm the Ward Councillor for Ward 44, and you're probably watching this tutorial because you either needed a recap on the training or you wanted a short tutorial on how exactly do you go about being a party agent on election day, the 8th of May. So basically what we're going to go through is, first of all, explain to you in short what your role is. I think if you understand that, then all the other details that I'm going to give to you would make more sense. So basically, on the 8th of May, quarter to 7, you can be at your respective voting stations. So there are 7 voting stations within 7 VDs within Ward 44. So when you arrive around quarter to 7 at the voting station, first thing you're going to do is have a look at if the voting station's open, or it looks like it will open at 7 o'clock. This is very important at voting stations where there's a tent that has to go up and the likes. And basically in this case it will be Tweefontein tent and Silicat's Causeway that we need to make sure is actually up and running, but usually it is. So what you're going to do at 7 o'clock when they open is you're going to go in to the presiding officer. That's basically just a nice word to say, well, this is the manager of the specific VD. So you're going to go to them and introduce yourself, and they will then ask you for your party agent form. I'll make sure that there's one on the group as well, but you'll also receive a party agent form at least the morning of the elections, if not the evening before. So you're going to fill this in and you're going to hand it to the presiding officer, and they're going to give you a sticker with your name on, and that will make you easily identifiable. And then basically you're a party agent. That's as easy as it gets. So then you're going to sit at your respective stream within the VD, and you're going to observe the voting process. So you don't have any executive work to do or anything like that on voting day. Your work is purely oversight. What does that mean? So basically you're going to have a look at when people vote, that when they receive their ballots, that it's stamped on the back, and also that the voting process is fair and people who actually are allowed to vote can vote. If the queues take quite long to move, you can find out why. And also if a zip machine, so that's almost like a point of sale scanner, but the zip machines are used to ensure the integrity of the voting process. You will see the zip machines when you are there. And common issues that can arise on the day is basically a queue doesn't move, the zip machine is broken, or there's not enough ballot papers. Those are general issues and it doesn't happen quite often. So if it happens, you can find out why, you can try and ascertain what's going on, and then should it not be resolved and it creates a bit of a chaotic situation and the queue's not moving, then you can phone me or contact our war room, and then I will personally make contact with our representative with the IEC. It's an old ambassador, retired ambassador. He's currently a member of the provincial legislature, and he is an expert on the voting process and the IEC. So I'll contact him and then we will resolve it. But in many years of voting within Ward 44, it's been very seldom that I actually had to contact him or somebody had to contact him. So that's basically what a party agent does. And then on an hourly basis, you can ask for figures from the zip machine. The figures actually the amount of people that came through to vote. So you can just get the figure from the presiding officer, and then you can just send it through to us. We use that figure to send it through or to capture it on a database, and that will tell us how the voting process is going nationally in terms of how many people has gone out to vote. And usually when it's a low turnout, we make sure that we jump on the phones and we phone the people to actually go out and vote. So that hourly count is very important. So to recap, what you will most likely be doing while you're overseeing the voting process is get an hourly count and send it through to us. We will have, or we already do have, a WhatsApp group, and you can just put it on there. Just mention your voting station and the amount of people that came through to vote. That's basically what a party agent does. Let's quickly go through more technical details that you might have an interest in. So basically, why we need party agent is to ensure the integrity of the election process and to make sure that every eligible voter has the opportunity to cast their vote, and make sure that every vote that's been cast actually gets counted. And I'll do a separate tutorial on the counting process. We also need to ensure that it is indeed a free and a fair election. So what do you bring with on the day? First of all, your ID document. That is, other than yourself, that is probably the most important piece of information or document to remember. So remember your ID document, and then your party agent form. I will put it on the group. If you want, you can print it out. Otherwise, I'll make sure it gets to you. And then a charged cell phone. Please remember a charged cell phone, because that is a way of communication, and should we need to reach you, or however the case may be, your cell phone will play a very integral part in the success of election day for us. Okay, I've taken you through what to do. One thing to mention is, especially with disabled voters, they can stop at the VD and then ask the presiding officer to actually take their vote at the vehicle, especially if they can't get out of the vehicle. Usually you'd go with the presiding officer, use a party agent and another party agent should they be there, and you'll just make sure that it's a proper vote and it's been cast properly. Should the person not be able to see, then you and I think a presiding officer and another party agent, to make sure all the bases are covered, will then ask the person who he's voting for, and then you'll help him to make his cross. You're not allowed to make his cross, but you can help him make his cross. Before voting starts, please make sure that the ballot boxes are empty. That if you get there and there's a ballot box full of ballots, then you know something really wrong is going on here. So make sure it's empty, and also get the serial numbers of those ballot boxes that are tied down with tie downs and with a number on. So just write down those numbers for your own records, especially when it gets to counting, to make sure that all the boxes were properly sealed before voting started, they were empty, and after voting started it's closed and then tied down with another tie down with a number. Also make sure that the IC stamp is on the back of every single ballot. If there's not a stamp on, that vote will not count. That is extremely important, especially if they forget a stamp or whatever. People cannot vote without the ballot being stamped on the back. Then a voter do need their ID number or the ID to vote. So it can be a green ID book, it can also be a card, that's fine. They cannot use a passport to vote. Should they need a temporary ID because theirs got lost or washed in the washing machine the night before, Home Affairs will be open on the day, and they can just go to their closest Home Affairs office and quickly get a temporary ID document. So some information if a voter arrives there and they have questions for you. This is a national and a provincial government election. That means that people can vote on this ballot or on both ballots as long as they're within the province where they're registered, and then of course within South Africa. If it's a person living in Durban, for example, and they need to now vote here, they can only vote on the national ballot and not provincially, because they're not in the province where they are registered. If there's confusion if a voter is registered, you can get them to text their ID number to the following number. I'll also put it on the WhatsApp group, but they can just send an SMS with the ID number to 32810. So it's 32810, the ID number. So I've gone through the typical problems and also what to do if there's a problem. Please make sure that any questions or any issues that arise, try to keep it non-confrontational. And should it be a serious issue, I mean, I can jump on to the telephone and get our representative of the on the IEC to help sort it out. Then we get to counting agents. So for the counting agents, I will do a separate tutorial. And to close off this tutorial with regards to party agents is enjoy it. You're part of a great process that's happening nationally, and you're part of something bigger. And truly, I believe that this election is the most important election since 1994. You know about state capture, you know the state of our country, and we truly need to kick out the ANC. And this election is actually where we have a very, very good chance to do that. On a last point, even though you might be very excited about our party, please don't wear any party regalia in the voting station. If you want to go and vote, and you're allowed to wear whatever you want, but when you're a party agent, please keep away from political regalia. You're allowed to wear a blue t-shirt or something blue if you really want to. That is completely up to you. And lastly, thank you for your time, thank you for availing yourself, thank you also for your excitement to help us so that we can together make this election an election to be remembered. Thank you for your time.